Hello, my name is Judy Watson. I am a business management student at Southwest Georgia Technical College in Thomasville, Georgia. The topic of my presentation today is forms of business ownership. My goal with this presentation is to help budding entrepreneurs understand the different forms of business ownership. Viewers will learn the characteristics of each type of ownership, the advantages and disadvantages of each type. Sole proprietorships are the simplest, most common form of business ownership. There is no division between the business and the owner. There's no formal action required to start a business of this type. The owner is entitled to all profits of the business, and they're also personally liable for all debts, losses, and liabilities for the business. Profits and losses for the business are always reported on the owner's personal taxes. A business license may be required by your city or county, and you may have to file a fictitious name if you want to operate a business under a name that's different from your own. Advantages of a sole proprietorship include simplicity of ownership, retained control of business operations, pride of ownership, profits, and tax advantages. Let's discuss a few of the disadvantages. First of all, it can be difficult for an individual to obtain money and other resources for starting and growing the business. Owners are completely and personally liable for any debts incurred by the business. Small businesses may find it hard to attract good employees due to an inability to pay as much or offer benefits as good as a large corporation would. Employees that are hired into small business may not stay there very long due to the same reasons. Because it is hard to attract and maintain employees, the workload on the owner is heavy. Many small businesses fail due to these hardships. The second form of business ownership is partnerships. There are three types of partnerships: general, limited, and limited liability. There are several differences in this type of ownership. We will go over more in the next slides, but a general partnership can have any number of partners, and they usually have equal rights and responsibilities within the business. A limited partnership has at least one general partner that has the right to operate the business on a day-to-day basis, and one limited partner who enjoys limited liability but does not participate in the daily business activities. A limited liability partnership is generally used for professionals like accountants and lawyers. They are equal partners, and they enjoy limited liability from any negligence on the part of the other partners. In summary, a general partnership is when two or more people enter into an agreement to do business together. This form of ownership is easy to form, and the taxes for the business are filed on each partner's individual tax return. Although partnerships can be entered into verbally, it is wise to have a written agreement outlining how much each partner will contribute, the duties and responsibilities of each partner, how profits and losses will be shared, and how the partnership will be dissolved if disagreements erupt. In a limited partnership, there is at least one general partner who has the right to operate the business on a day-to-day basis and also has full liability for any losses incurred. Limited partners do not participate in the daily activities of managing the business, but they enjoy less risk in the partnership because their liability is also limited. In a limited liability partnership, each partner has equality in the management of the business, but each partner is also protected from liabilities incurred by the negligence on the part of the other partners. Again, this type of ownership varies on a state-to-state basis and is usually reserved for accountants and lawyers. The advantages of forming a partnership include the ability of pooling resources to have more financial stability, different partners bringing different skills to the company. This type of business is easy to form and has certain tax advantages for individual owners. Drawbacks include unlimited liability in general partnerships, the possibility of disagreements between partners, a lack of continuity if a partner wants to exit the agreement or in the event of his or her death, and there may be difficulty in dissolving the partnership itself. Unless you are in a limited partnership or a limited liability partnership, each partner holds unlimited liability for losses incurred by the business. The main thing to remember with a partnership is to have all the details in writing up front so that each partner knows what is expected of him or her, and so that all details are clear to everyone involved. The third form of ownership is corporations. Creating a corporation is like creating an artificial person. A corporation is a legal entity that can produce revenue, incur liability, and enter into contractual agreements in its own name. There are several types of corporations, but the C corporation is the most common. To summarize, the advantages of a corporation is limited liability for its stockholders, permanence and continuity of the business, the ease of and the ability to transfer ownership from one person to another, the ability to raise large amounts of cash quickly, and the ability to track and maintain specialized management and skilled employees. Disadvantages include complexity and cost of startup, more legal and tax issues to deal with, and more paperwork and regulations on reporting financial information to stockholders and to the public, and possible conflicts of interest on the part of elected board members. Limited liability corporations are the newest type of business ownership, and because they are fairly new, regulations are still being developed and can vary from state to state. The paperwork for starting this type of business is similar to starting a corporation, but it is not as extensive. This type of business can choose to be taxed as a corporation, a partnership, or a sole proprietorship. Also, because this type of business has members instead of stockholders, they are not required to hold annual board meetings like corporations. Limited liability, taxation choice, less paperwork, simplicity of operations, ease of transferring ownership within the same state are some advantages of an LLC. Disadvantages include complex formation, an annual franchise tax depending on the state, difficulty transferring ownership out of state. There are also limits on what types of businesses can operate using this structure, and the regulations vary by state. In conclusion, each business is different and there's no form of business ownership that is right for every business. Entrepreneurs will have to look at the big picture of their business plan and decide which form of ownership fits their business best.